There are days left before the start of the Baptism of Fire tournament before World Cup 75. The crew of the good ship HMS Custom of the Sea are running late for their opening game. The national football team has been propelled 32 years into the future though, so they're currently training their backup national team, who are locked in the hold of the ship, kept there by a manager named Horatio Suckling. The team had been referring to football as greasy churning until recently. They're about to pick up a life raft containing a number of souls from the wreck of the Montrealais, having just played their first ever match against a team of local dockers and lost by 17 goals to nil. The Montrealais is a whaling ship with a crew so bad at whaling that in trying to catch a slow whale, they succumbed to Zeno's paradox. The crew contains a man named Duncan, who is intent on using the ship's fluid time boiler to travel back in time and kill his own captain, so as not to have gotten into this mess in the first place. Their players don't know where they are, what positions they'll be playing in, or who the strange man with the beard is. They are an international greasy churning team comprised entirely of confused pirate refugees led by a madman. They are, according to Shamometrics, the least ridiculous team in the history of the World Cup. They are Ballad Sea. Despite that 17-0 friendly defeat, and despite having lost their first choice squad to a time catastrophe, Ballad Sea would reach the final of the Baptism of Fire tournament. Playing like gods in competitive matches and, well, like confused pilots in warm-up games would become a habit for the Bonesmen. Prior to the qualifiers for World Cup 75, the side played 2 exhibition games against San Jose Gabel and lost by an aggregate score 9-1. Post-qualifying friendlies didn't yield any wins either. In World Cup 75 qualifying Group 12, Ballad Sea would stumble into 3rd place, helped by the fact that they were in there with an equestrian states team who were posting probably the most pathetic qualifying run in living memory. Even Ballad Sea, who refused to ever be consigned to one single time period, couldn't have seen what was about to happen next. First, they beat the Sword Bloke in the final game, and then the Sword Bloke ceased to exist. The Seamen, and yes, the people aboard the HMS Custom of the Sea were typically called Seamen, it's not funny, promoted to the playoffs. Against all logic, Ballad Sea would win. They were drawn with the same San Jose Gabel team that had pulled their pants down in pre-qualifying. With only minor changes to the side, they'd win 3-2. A draw with Electrum would come before on a memorable night for a half-dozen Bonesmen in attendance. The side defeated Velita to make the second round of the World Cup. No other newcomer had reached the knockout stages of a debut World Cup for at least 30 cycles. The Pirates were broadsided in round 2, and the message had been sent: if it's not a friendly match, you're in trouble. Like all true pirates, they only start working when there's some gold to plunder. They were at it again during the Eagles Cup at the start of cycle 76, taking points of 5-time champions Varnora, smashing the Holy Empire 6-4 on the way to the quarter-finals. There, they would lose another high-scoring game on penalties to Asarius. Roll on World Cup 76, where the team would change their shirts from purple to brown. An improved performance in qualifying for World Cup 76 would nevertheless see Bonesy defeated by Damakini in the playoffs. They turned their attentions to the Cup of Harmony. After Damakini, no other team would come close to defeating the Sailors. Kaboomlandia, Gaderia, Kalumba all beaten in the group stage. Asnia defeated 6-3 and Glacier 3-2. Matthews Iania were defeated by a single goal to nil. Bonesy would reach the final, played at the Harbour Hill Stadium in Handon and Shortia. The hosts were there, waiting. But the weight of expectation and the power of Bonesy's recklessly aggressive attack would prove too much for Shortia. Bonesy, in just their second cycle, had reached their second major final and had finally struck gold. 9 goals in a game was a fairly normal occurrence for the Bonesmen, who had been playing a unique 1-2-7 formation dubbed the Orgranja. The formation was spearheaded by the star striker Conchubara Wicket, a man who could not only score in a brothel but could probably hit a brace in a convent. Not content with taking international football by storm, they also set about leaving their mark on the domestic game. It was Bonesy's newspaper, Bold Sport, that would create the inaugural Galacticos Index, a celebration of the finest footballers of each Eureka season that still runs today. World Cup 77 see Bonesmen reach the quarter-finals, and victory followed in the second Independence Association Cup, their third final and second trophy in 4 cycles. Like in their Cup of Harmony win, they would play Shortia in the final. Like the Cup of Harmony win, they would play them at the Harbour Hill Stadium in Handon. And like the Cup of Harmony, Bonesy would win. Despite having twice witnessed firsthand how annoying it is to lose in a major tournament before your own fans, Bonesy decided to co-host World Cup 78. Bonesy would play their matches at 4 fields. Indeed, half the teams playing in the World Cup would play their matches at 4 fields, arguably the most ridiculous football stadium ever imagined. On their own turf, they would reach the quarter-final, with the Holy Empire gaining a measure of revenge from their previous beating in the Eagles Cup. By the time World Cup 79 rolled around, the central prong of the 1-2-7 formation had become one Carol Tyree. Tyree had been in the provisional squad for Bonesy's Baptism of Fire tournament, the one sent so many years into the future. Tyree, aged 50 in temporal terms, but physically a sprightly 23, was a star man. His goals were invaluable on Bonesy's journey to the final of World Cup 79. There, their opponents were Shorty. This time, without the added pressure of a desperate home crowd, Shorty beat the Bonesmen to take their maiden World Cup, denying Bonesy a treble of major tournament gold in record time. It proved to be Bonesy's final game of international football. They never played again. Five cycles, 4 major finals, 2 trophies, 1 major development in domestic football. Interspersed with these milestones, stories of temporal displacement, shipwrecks, tribes of Joneses and shinbones. They are the least ridiculous football team in the history of the World Cup. Even White, a team closely associated with the Bonesmen, are amongst the least ridiculous teams in the multiverse. It kind of makes a mockery of the entire concept of shadometrics, does it not? It does kind of make sense. Most teams take some heavy beatings in competitive games in their first cycle, but Bone Team took 0. They never lost by 3 or more goals in any competitive game in the qualifiers or the finals for the World Cup. They only failed to make the World Cup once. Their name is friendly to the Scrabble metric. From a statistical standpoint, Bonesy are as sensible as can be. Sure, they were pirate refugees from a zombie island, but as far as shadometrics is concerned, the ends justified the means. Still, let's scroll up. I'm sure we'll be well into the top 100 of the most ridiculous teams in the multiverse before we see another exclusively pirate football team. Here we are, for fuck's sake. And marine pirates as well. Hey Daffodil. You guys, the Marie. Are you guys pirates?
Yar, fiddly dee. Being a pirate is alright with me. Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
Okay. So, let me get this straight. The least ridiculous team in the multiverse is Bonesy. The third least ridiculous World Cup nation is one where people do unexpected armed dance routines dressed as a pirate. Okay. That's okay. I'll tell you what. The formula isn't fantastic at finding the least ridiculous football teams. Marines and Bonesy's metrics are both 0.00. Let's scroll up. Let's ain't no sunshine our way through all 3,000 teams from the bottom to the top, and I will show you the top of the ridiculousness standings. You'll see plenty of teams are below a 1 in terms of ridiculousness. At the top, things will escalate quickly. Right, here we go.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. And she's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away. Wonder this time where she's gone. Wonder if she's gone to stay. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. And this house just ain't no home. Anytime she goes away. You gotta leave those things alone. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Only darkness every day. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. In this house just ain't no home. Anytime she goes away. Anytime she goes away. Anytime she goes away. Anytime she goes away. Yeah! 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 Woo!
This episode is a bit like the Titanic. At the start, there's a shipwreck, and at the end, everybody dies. I feel like I could make an Idiot Project feature about any of these teams in the top 100. Or, for that matter, any of the teams at the bottom. Denisov's only notable footballer was a goalkeeper. Simmerland have made more transfers than Ryanair. Limitania's RP history makes Bonesy's look positively pedestrian. Honestly, there's a story behind every one of these World Cup nations. From From the bottom, Bone Sea, Saintland and Marine. To the top with, well, we'll cover the top 10 on another video. When I told you that the numbers would escalate quickly, I meant it.